Ever since she was a child, Lena feared the dark. It wasn't a simple, childish fear of what might be hiding under the bed. No, her fear was rooted in something much deeper, a secret terror she never dared to speak of. It all began the year her family moved into the old house on Mill Road. That was the same year her older brother, Leo, vanished without a trace. The police investigation went nowhere. They eventually shrugged their shoulders, closing the case. There was no evidence, no suspects, just another kid who they said probably wandered off. But Lena knew better. She remembered the nights leading up to his disappearance. The nights Ed screamed for help from their shared bedroom, always after their parents had turned out the lights. He would whisper to her, his voice trembling, about the thing that lurked in the corner of their room. He called it the shadow that grew darker as the moon rose. Their parents, of course, dismissed it all as nightmares. Just an overactive imagination, they said. But Lena saw the genuine fear in his eyes. Years passed. Lena grew up, moved away, and did her best to build a new life, to forget the suffocating dread of that house. But when her mother passed away, she had no choice but to return. She had to go back to the house on Mill Road to settle her mother's affairs. The moment she stepped inside, the memories came flooding back. The place sat heavy with a silence that felt different from mere quiet. It was a thick, suffocating pressure that pressed in on you from all sides. It felt like the house itself was holding its breath, waiting. On her very first night back, as if on cue, the power failed. The entire house was plunged into an absolute, inky blackness. Lena's breath caught in her throat. She was a grown woman now, a journalist who dealt in facts and logic. But in that instant, the childhood fear returned, as sharp and paralyzing as ever. She told herself to be rational, that it was just an old house with faulty wiring. She tried to sleep, curling up on the old sofa, but something was deeply wrong. A soft, rhythmic scraping sound started from the hallway, just outside the living room door. It sounded like fingernails dragging across the old wooden floorboards. At first, she tried to convince herself it was mice or the house settling. But then she heard it, a faint, unmistakable whisper that chilled her to the bone. It was her brother's voice, a sound she hadn't heard in over 20 years. "It waits in the dark." "Lena," the whisper hissed. "Don't let it see you." She froze, every muscle in her body locked by a terror she thought she had outgrown. Suddenly, her mind raced, recalling the stories she'd researched for her job. She'd always been fascinated by the unexplained, reading countless true accounts of people vanishing from their beds, of shadowy figures seen in the corners of rooms. She'd read about unexplained cold spots and sleep paralysis that left victims helpless, unable to move or scream. Lena had always written these off as urban legends, the kind of spooky tales that filled late-night podcasts and internet forums. But now, alone in the darkness of her childhood home, she felt a terrifying certainty that every single one of those stories was true. The darkness around her no longer felt empty. It felt alive, shifting, watching her with a malevolent intelligence. With a trembling hand, she fumbled for her phone on the coffee table. Its weak screen glow barely pierced the oppressive gloom. And that's when she saw it. Across the room, crouched in the far corner, was a shape. It was a patch of black that was somehow darker than the surrounding dark. It had no discernible face, no clear features, just a vague suggestion of long, contorted limbs, and the faint glint of something like eyes, reflecting her phone's tiny light. Her brother's desperate words echoed in her mind. "Dan T, let it see you. Don't look." Tearing her gaze away, she squeezed her eyes shut, her heart hammering against her ribs like a trapped bird. The air in the room grew unbearably cold, a damp chill that sank deep into her bones. She heard the whisper again, but this time it was closer, right beside her ear, filled with a desperate urgency. "Go. Now." That single word broke her paralysis. Summoning a surge of adrenaline and every ounce of courage she possessed, She scrambled off the sofa and darted for the front door, stumbling through the pitch-black hallway, navigating purely by the memory of the house's layout. She didn't dare look back. She burst out onto the front porch, gasping for air, her lungs burning. And there, on the horizon, she saw the first faint streaks of dawn breaking through the night sky. As the light grew, the suffocating presence behind her seemed to recede. The oppressive weight on her chest lifted, and the unnatural cold dissipated. She was safe. Later that day, she returned, but not alone. She brought a friend with her, someone to witness that she wasn't crazy. They searched the house from top to bottom. There's no sign of a break-in, no broken windows or forced locks. Everything was just as she'd left it. Except for one thing. On the wooden floor of the bedroom she and Leo used to share, they found a set of deep, angry scratches etched into the planks, right in the corner where he always said the shadow was waiting. Lena never spent another night in that house. She sold it, packed her things, and left for good, never looking back. She could unexplain what she'd seen or what had happened to her brother all those years ago. But she warns anyone who will listen. Some houses keep their secrets buried in the dark, and sometimes those secrets are hungry. Thanks for joining me on this chilling journey. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more tales from the shadows. Stay safe, and always check the corners of your room.